Hey y'all, it's Cassie. It's Friday and it is watering day. This is April 26th and I live in North Central Florida for those of you who haven't been following me. I still just use soaker hoses in my in-ground garden to water everything, and I water about every 2 to 3 days. Right now it's still getting cool at night and it's still cool in the mornings, and so the water is not evaporating out of the soil or absorbing into the soil as quick as it normally would. Now into May, late May, June, and July, I may have to water twice a day some days, just depending on the temperature, especially late June and July. I have soaker hoses set up in my in-ground garden that I just run for about 20 minutes every 2 to 3 days. And then in my raised beds, I have some PVC pipe drip systems that I'll go through and explain how they work. And then in my smaller raised beds, I still just go through with a water hose and water by hand because it's pretty simple and pretty fast. Let's go turn on the water for the in-ground bed. This is my first year with an in-ground bed, so I haven't put any type of permanent water system in yet. But let's go hook up the soaker hose, and then while that runs, I'll come back and kind of walk through the PVC pipe. And then after the soaker hoses have ran for about 20 minutes, I'll explain to you how the PVC pipe works and break that down for you. So I've got the soaker hoses going for the in-ground garden, and I actually had to set up 2 different soaker hose lines for this garden because I realized once I snaked it through all 5 rows that it wasn't getting very good to the end. So I broke it into 2 different soaker hose sections. So I'll have to let this run for, like, there's the end of the soaker hose section, and then this will be a whole nother one. So I'll let that run for 20 minutes and then come back and hook up the second soaker hose line. So since the soaker hoses pretty much run themselves, what I do is I set a timer for 20 minutes on my phone, and then that gives me time to either go around and feed animals that I haven't already fed, or I go inside, do laundry, wash dishes, make beds, clean floors, all that really fun stuff that we all love to do. So I'm out here now switching soaker hoses. I'm going to set my alarm again for 20 minutes so that it waters the other half of the in-ground bed, and then I'll come out and we'll go over the PVC pipe drip systems that I have installed in the raised beds. This is my original bed, and I think we built it about 8-9 years ago. I keep saying like different numbers, but I think it was about 8 or 9 years ago. And then this is the second bed that I built. I hand watered them and had a lot of issues with powdery mildew because it's very hard to hand water and not get water all over your leaves of your plant. And so last year I was on Pinterest and I saw these PVC pipe waters. It's just, my husband built this one. This one's so got the garlic so much in it. I don't think I can show you it, but I can show you this one. And this one has a bunch of blue PVC pipe glue on it because I drilled the holes too close together the first time, so don't make my mistake. But my husband just built these adapters for the hose because he says that they sell this part, but he had to build it because they were out of them. And then we just have an elbow that goes down so that it hangs over the edge of the bed so that the water hose doesn't have to like go down in to attach right there. And then we just have elbows, and then we have the long PVC pipe all the way out, and then end caps on both ends. My beds are 4 foot wide, and so there's a foot on this side, 2 feet in the middle, and then a foot on this side. And then I just drilled holes. I'm going to go show you over here because I did a better job on this one. But we just drilled holes like every 12 inches on either side of the pipe. That way it puts water out all the way down and waters all the plants on both sides. And you don't actually have to put water directly on where the plant sits because remember, the roots go underground and they run. So as long as you have the holes about every 12 inches, all of your plants are going to get plenty of water. So I will let each one of these run for about 20 minutes, and then I will come back and we will hand water all of my smaller beds. This is the second one running, and as you'll see, this is the one that I like drilled all the holes a lot closer together. And then I just went back with pipe glue and filled some of them in. But it just doesn't build up as much pressure toward the end. So I sometimes have to let it run a little bit longer. So like I said, you're just going to want to put your holes like 12 inches apart. And then if you think you can go back in and add a couple more, then you can go back in and add more. But always start with less and then go back and add more so that you don't end up like me having to fill holes with pipe glue. Now to water all the smaller beds, I just use one of these long extendable garden sprayers. I think I got this one at Aldi a few years ago, and it's actually lasted longer than any of the smaller ones that I've ever bought anywhere else. So now I'll just take out through and water all the smaller beds, and then we're done watering for the day. And then again, just like when I'm watering with the soaker hoses so that I'm just targeting the dirt, I just kind of go up under all of my plants with this extendable water garden sprayer and make sure that I'm only saturating the ground. Since we live in a high humidity state, I don't want any water to get on the leaves, which might create powdery mildew. And you might say to yourself, well, what's the difference in that and rain? Rain comes every now and then when you're watering, especially in the later months like June and July. You'll be watering every day, and that's when you start to develop the problem of powdery mildew. Also, avoiding the leaves with the water helps the sun, because as the sun's starting to come out, because it takes me so long to water, the sun would then magnify the droplets of water, and that could create burns on the leaves of your plants. So watering the ground also helps to prevent that from happening.